Yo everyone, how you all doing? Hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in to what will be my first ever league racing video on this channel and on F1 2021. Hopefully the first of many to come. But we are here for the PSGL Esports Invitational Social Race at Spain. So big thanks to the guys over at PSGL for setting up this race for quite a lot of us sweaty esports drivers to get some sort of pre-season races in, if you like. So yeah, here we are at Spain, jumping straight into the action, heading straight out of the garage to do an installation lap on the mediums. So we are jumping straight in this video into the qualifying session.
I think I'm just going to rebox again immediately, to be honest.
As you can hear me say here, I wanted to rebox on the mediums because I didn't actually really want to put much wear on them because I was unsure if I was going to need them during the session. I wasn't really sure up until probably quite a way into this session as to what to do in terms of strategy. So here we are, as you can see, cutting to the end of that install lap, boxing again on the mediums. Didn't get a single percent of wear on them at all, and yeah, it was quite tricky. As you can hear me say, yeah, I literally have no idea what to do with strategy at this point. So, as you can see, I'm watching what Freddy's doing, just to see if anyone's sort of setting laps on the softs, to see if many people are sort of committing to a certain strategy, because what I think a lot of people, even myself, was considering doing was to start on the mediums. If you try and qualify P11, not the medium, sorry, start on the hards. If you can qualify 11th, you get free tyre choice and you can start on the alternate strategy, which can turn out to be very, very quick. But it would be very, very tricky to do that with the... because you'd have to sandbag and sort of see where you'd end up by the end of the session. So it was high risk, and as you can hear me say now, we have to sort of debate if we want to commit to the softs, and quite early on, so we took the first 5 minutes of the session just to sort of understand what we wanted to do, and it now looks like we're going to commit fully to the soft tyre strategy. So as you can see now, coming around the final corners to sort of wind up our first flying lap. I will take you through it as a sort of commentated lap, I suppose. So rounding the final corner, opening the DRS onto the main straight, heading all the way down, quite a long sort of straight line period before you hit the brakes. A car coming out the pits there in the distance. So yeah, moving out, using a little bit of curb, braking just as the sort of tarmac changes, using the inside curb on both apexes, swinging the car out, 2 cars of traffic on outside, using the curb on the inside to hook the car back in up to 7th gear, sort of saving a little bit of distance in the exit, a bit of yellow flag there as well, but nothing to worry about. 4th gear, getting the inside of the curb again, short shifting the exit, using all the road in the exit, let the car release, get that minimum speed up through the corner, down to 2nd gear, double upshift to 4th to sort of allow the car to rotate and get the power on. Saving a little bit of distance again, now down to 4th gear, using the inside curb. Very important to use your curbing around this track, as it can help rotate the car in crucial instances. Nearly flat, if not flat through there. I didn't actually check the throttle trace, but coming into a very heavy braking zone, bang on the brakes at around 100 metres, down into 2nd gear, getting that apex nicely, using as much road as we can without getting invalidation, swinging it left, swinging it right. This corner goes on for quite a while. You start to get a bit of oversteer on the exit once you push it because the tyres are on fire. Coming to the slow speed final sector, now dropping it to 3rd gear. Very, very hard to get this chicane right. There's a lot of lap time there. Getting a bit of oversteer on the exit, planting the throttle, going up to 6th gear, up to 7th, getting the DRS open, and bang! Provisional pole position.
Well, not a good lap in terms of lap time, but it's roughly where I want it to be.
So yeah, as you can see,
I need to have options, you know, I need to have options.
So at this point I still wasn't sure what strategy I wanted to commit to, but here we are now, fully committing to the soft strategy. So we're going for absolute all-out pace, and I know I need to improve my lap. I know there's a good few tenths in there that I can improve on. So here we are again, starting our 2nd lap. Let's see where we can improve as we head on into this one. So starting the lap a few thousandths down. We have 1 car ahead of us on track. I believe it's Williams ahead, but anyway, banging on the brakes at the same point. Missing the apex a little bit, actually. We didn't really get that nice a sector 1. It feels a bit of oversteer, 4-wheel sliding on our way transitioning between corner 2 and 3. 100th down, so not a perfect start to the lap in all fairness, but this is where I think we start to hook it all up, carrying incredible speed right out to the edge of the track, maximising the road we have available. And then let's see what sort of exit we get here. It is actually okay. I can't really see how far we're up at the moment, but there we are, down to 4th gear. Great exit, it feels good traction. just a tiny lift on entry to settle the car in, and then planting the throttle, committing as hard as we can. Now to the final sector of the lap, where you can gain a lot of lap time. It really does make or break your lap. Really neat and tidy into that hairpin. That seemed to help us a lot. Now, let's see, coming through to the exit, hugging a nice tight line, snapping oversteer on the exit, using every millimetre we can, carrying so much, every literal part of the road we can use, we are using. Short shift, well, not short shift, sorry, getting on the power, now upshifting, saving the distance to the line, not running it out wide, DRS open, and bang!
Let's go.
There we go,
committing to softs.
13.9. This was a really, I'd say this was a pretty good lap for the middle of the session.
The original pole
for the final run, there's definitely more you can improve.
That was a good lap.
For this, as you can even see, I was really quite happy with this lap at the time. I was pretty stoked. And here we are, after putting it on provisional pole, we are sitting right now on P1, final run of the session. We need to hopefully try and improve the lap to see if we can seal the positions, committing to this strategy. And as you can see, Fabrizio Donoso and Nicholas Longue behind us, two of the Alpine Esports drivers. There's so much talent on this grid. You guys have no idea how hard it is to be competitive in these sort of grids, so you really need to bring your A game, even just to compete in the first place. So yeah, let's see where we are in the Delta. Actually, we are up a little bit. Our Sector 1 wasn't that great on many of the laps, in total fairness, so yeah, quite a tidy apex. We're going to go green on the Delta now, on our last run in qualifying. Now, we didn't get that nice a release through here. We did lose a few hundreds. We pinned it flat. Oh, we literally nearly got it flat, but it wasn't faster to do that because we never optimised our line through that corner. Slightly later apex, not as tidy, but we are gaining a little bit. We're still red at the moment, so we really want to try and improve if we can. Giving it everything, not as much speed carried on the exit of that corner there. Winding it into the final chicane, getting the car tucked in nicely to the chicane, front end washing out on us, planting the throttle on exit. We gave everything out of that last corner, but it is not enough to improve.
Goal, but it wasn't enough.
As we can hear, it wasn't quick enough to improve. So even with the grip being higher, we didn't manage to improve. So there was definitely a little bit of time on the table that we could have maybe improved more. But at the moment, the Alpine guys cannot improve on the lap.
We wouldn't have done it. We wouldn't have done it, chat.
And at the moment,
we wouldn't have done it.
At the moment, it's looking good for pole position.
Are we on pole?
As you can hear, I'm not exactly sure if we have pole position at this point. I'm just waiting for every last car to cross the line at this moment. But a lot of cars trying to go for that outside top 10 position. And we made the right decision, I believe, because with our lap time, which was set initially, the .22, I believe, we would not have made outside the top 10 to start on the hard compound tyre. So, therefore, we have maximised our strategy, and we are looking good for pole position. I'm not being premature, but let's see where it lets us end up at the moment.
Ladies and gents,
and there we go.
Pole position!
And as you can hear, I am so stoked with that. This, for context, guys, was my first league race in, I believe the exact number was 761 days, 2 years and 1 month, I think.
Let's go!
And you can see how much that meant. That was a really, really nice way to come back to league racing. And yeah, now we have to deliberate on the strategy. So we are using preset 1, I believe, maximum downforce. It was quite risky because it didn't know how it would be to race. Because it would be very easy to be vulnerable at the start or at certain phases of the race, so this could have been the wrong decision.
Thank God the
but I committed everything that I did in this race. I committed to it, and I believe that's what helped, you know, deliver the results when it mattered. Up to this point, especially with pole position. So yeah, here we go, getting ready towards the end of the formation lap. We're having to warm our tyres up. We could have warmed them up a bit better, I have to say. I don't think we optimised it, but we also have to worry about the tyre wear, because the softs at the start of this race are very, very tricky to manage.
We'll give it a go.
Because the tyre temperatures are very sensitive at this track, and you need to stretch the soft compound tyres for around at least 8 laps roughly, to be safe towards the end of the race on in the hard compound tyres, to not blow them up, quite simply. So yeah, here we are lining up on the grid. And this is, at this point, the nerves start to build, it starts to get exciting, and here we go. Okay, so here we are, 4 lights, 5 lights, ready for our first league race in so long, and we are away. Bit of wheel spin on initial release, but we actually get a good start. Nico slotting in behind us now, starting to approach us though, so we have to go a bit defensive on the inside, but we break late into turn 1, use the curb to rotate the car, and we are quite safely into the lead of this GP, kicking it off in perfect manner. We couldn't really have asked for much better of a start, and yes, now we just need to focus fully on getting away, focusing on not making any mistakes, getting into a rhythm. It's a very easy, very easy track to get invalidations if you're not focused, if you're not composed, so definitely something we needed to watch out for in this race for sure. But here we are, just settling into a rhythm. Nico 6/10 back at the moment, so everything going okay so far. 6th gear through the turn 9 right-hander, and yes, we are away. We're on board for the whole of the first lap, braking at 100 metres. 3rd gear for the hairpin, just to reserve the car a little bit. And yes, we're now away. We're just sort of settling into this race, trying to focus on doing our own thing. The alternate strategy runners will be coming into play towards the end of the race, so we're just focusing on doing our own thing. A little bit of oversteer actually on the entry to that chicane, but overall this has been an excellent first lap. 7/10 clear by the end of the first lap, which is, it feels ginormous. So we're now going to be cutting through the laps, I believe, so down to 600 by the end of that straight. But as we come across lap 2, setting the fastest lap, of course, we have the gap at around 8 tenths, and then next lap it's 7 tenths, going on to lap 4. So we're just sort of chopping through the laps now, but so far everything is looking okay. As you can hear me say, tyres are getting very tricky to manage. Simon Weigang setting the fastest lap of the race in the DRS train, so we're just focusing on what we can do at the moment. Trying to lap within the same sort of pace range. Now coming on to lap 6 now, still got the 2 Alpines behind us. They're just sort of hanging on in there, which is okay for us. We're doing okay. There's quite a big gap now starting to form behind the Alpines at the moment. So now coming on to lap 7, you can see I've stopped at the chicane because as we release going on to lap 8, we can see just in the mirror Nico pitting into the pit lane. If you look at the minimap now, you can see one of the blue dotted Alpines boxing right now. That is Nicholas Longuet boxing for his hard tyres, which he will go to the end of the race. Now on to lap 8. Now we have to respond. We don't really have an option, but we are boxing this lap, caning it as we come in through here. Braking quite early, to be honest, just to make sure we don't speed. You know, it'd be the worst thing in the world to make that sort of mistake when leading when leading the race, when the ball is in our court. So Fabrizio Donoso though continuing on for 1 extra lap on the soft compound tyres. Now my objective here was just to cover off Nico, cover off any threat from people undercutting. I wanted to get out and hopefully maintain position, but as we can see, the gap is good. We've actually managed to not only get out ahead but extend the gap. We have increased the gap from under a second to 1.7. So our in-lap was incredibly good, and now we need to focus on extending that gap. So now as we sort of crack on with it a bit, as we can see coming towards the end of lap 9, our out-lap if you like, from the pit lane, we've got 2 seconds on Nicholas Longuet. We could not ask for any better fortune at this point in the race. We've done everything we need to do, and Fabrizio coming out of the pit lane falls even further behind Nico, and Simon Weigang starts fighting with Nicholas as well, so the gap starts to increase more and more. Everything is going in our favour at the moment. We've done everything we need to do, we've pulled away when we've needed to pull away, and now we have, I believe, Frederick Rasmussen ahead of us, who has disconnected from the race. So I believe, as you can hear me say, I love my life, because I've got DRS from Freddie's ghost car. I don't know why Freddie left. I can only presume he's either disconnected from internet or he has got damage in during the race. So that's a massive shame for Freddie. He's one of the fastest guys in the world. He's always up there, so absolute legend. And as you can see, Jarno Opmeer setting the fastest lap on that alternate strategy. The hard tyres are very robust, they can go on for a long time and keep punching out lap times. We were just a tenth and a bit down on his lap there, so now skipping on a few laps on to lap 14, and as we can see, we are 3.5 seconds ahead of Patrick Sipos behind us, who's on a what I believe is a 2-stop strategy. Nico on the same strategy, 4 seconds back, but these guys have now got penalties as well, so we are just trying to focus on ourselves because the alternate strategy runners are going to come back in towards the end of the race. But more prominently at this moment, Floris Vyers and Dylan Warren right ahead of us, fighting for their own position on track. They haven't stopped yet. They are still on the hard tyres. On that alternate strategy that we're talking about, these guys are going to pit not too long now. They're going to pit in a few laps time onto the medium compound tyres. So I was actually really worried at this point in the race because I didn't know if I was going to not get past these guys, if I was going to be stuck, if I was going to get damaged. Anything can happen. Nothing is a given in these races. But as we can see here, Dylan getting out the way. So trying to cost himself as little time as possible, inadvertently helping us out. We get massive oversteer on the hairpin, just a little bit too aggressive from us, but we need to keep focused. Dylan being an absolute legend, you know, not putting up a fight, you know, thinking about both races there, so, you know, that's great sportsmanship from him there. Quite intelligent to do that, in all fairness. And you're going to hear me get quite annoyed here because I thought initially Flores was trying to keep his position by the DRS at the ERS, but we use so much ERS here because we know we need to get this position flying up the inside of Flores. Thankfully, doesn't put up a fight, so thankfully these guys not putting up much of a fight. So big thanks to those guys, you know, not ruining our race even though they could have. You know, thinking intelligently there. So now we're cracking. We got the fastest lap of the race thanks to having the DRS off of Flores there behind us. So we are cracking on with a great pace now, hopefully trying our best to sort of get as big a gap as we can before these alternate strategy runners start to come into the pit. And speaking of coming into the pit, Jarno Opmeer, if you look at the top left, is in the pit lane. The F1 Esports World Champion from last season is in the pit lane on the medium tyres now. His pace is going to be absolutely soaring towards the end of the race. So here we are, we're going to be cutting on with the laps now. Teammate is in the pits.
Come on,
with the remainder of the strategy. Alternate strategy runners even now coming into play, and that is us back in the lead of the race. So that is the strategies all played out now. It's now a race to the finish. We have 5 seconds to the car behind, so our pace in this race to those on the similar strategy was incredibly strong. So that was something we did quite well, I believe, at this point in the race. We just managed everything as we can. But as you can see, Jarno Opmeer now in P5. He is on the fight through. And there's 11 laps left at this point in the race. So when I see this, you know, 11 laps left, and the gap, as you can see now, 6.3 seconds. Now P4 for Jarno, so he's found even more positions. So it's getting scary, it's getting spicy. There's 10 laps left at this point, so I had no idea if Jarno was going to sail towards me, if he had a huge pace advantage, or if I was going to have enough. And he doesn't have any penalties either.
Going to get Nico this lap.
And as you can hear me say, I'm predicting Jarno's going to get Nico.
Until the very end. Oh god, no.
Yeah, so I can already feel the classic Jarno Opmeer strategy breathing down my neck at this point. I'm just trying my best to keep focused. And there he is, Jarno Opmeer in P2, 5.9 seconds behind us with, I believe, like 8 laps remaining or something. So it's now a complete race to the end. Now at this point in the race, I am going to give everything I have. You can now see the gap up the top left, sorry, coming down bit by bit. It's starting to get scary because we don't know how quickly Jarno's going to catch us with the tyres. Our tyres are getting so much older. You can hear me say there, I'm saying we need perfection. It's because exactly what we need. It's exactly what we need. We need to be perfect. And if you look at my lap times, we set our fastest lap of the race on lap 29 on over 20 lap old hard tyres. So we are giving it everything. Faster lap again, lap 30. We are going for it. We are giving it everything. We really want to win this race. I'm telling Jeff to shut up because I really want to try and focus on winning this race. 3.4 seconds with 4 laps left. It's all or nothing. But as we can, yeah, as I can say, the tyre we're 65%. I believe I saw it there. Really high on the left rear, but we're still going faster. We're still keeping the pace at the 16 and the 16.8, but we're going to go on board for the final 2 laps of this race, uncut. 16.8 again as we cross the line, 2.8 second gap.
Come on!
You can hear myself giving myself sort of motivation, just trying to bring this back. You guys have no idea how much this would mean to win this race. As my voice goes a little bit. It's been a long time since I've done a league race. As I say, I keep feeling like I say this too many times, but the exact days was 761 days since I last competed in a league race
Come on, good focus.
on F1 2018. I've focused on esports, I've not done any league racing, but now on our first race back in PSGL, our first race in PSGL, our first league race in so long, we put it on pole, and now we are fighting to try and win our race on the first attempt, which is unthinkable. If you'd asked me this before the race, it would have seemed unthinkable, but I've focused, I've tried to keep composed, and now pushing on as hard as we can. You have guys, I was giving it everything at this stage in the race. I was really trying to give every last bit I had. You can hear me now saying no risks. Coming across the line, using out your rest. 71%. Fastest lap of our race. On the second last lap of the race, we do a 16.7, which was really fast. We were really going for it. The tyres were so worn down, but I didn't care. I was still going for it. The car was moving around in a lot of traction zones, and we're on the last lap of the race. 2.1 seconds to Jarno up here behind us. A lot of the guys now behind us on penalties. So at worst case at this point, we are going to come P2 in this race. But as the laps have went past, Jarno's tyres seem to have faded away a bit more.
Please.
And you can hear me now. I'm begging for this to hold together. I'm begging for the tyres to hold together. I'm only a few corners away from winning the PSGL Esports Invitational, which is, it might only be a social race, but this would mean everything to achieve this after what has been quite a tough time in the recent 9 months. So coming around the final corners, the realisation starts to hit. The tyres held together. We've done the hard work. We have performed when it matters. Rounding the chicane, oversteering out the exit because we do not care. And I'm going to be quiet because it speaks for itself.
That's what I'm talking about! That's what I'm talking about! Let's go! Let's go! Yes! Baby! Let's go! Come on! Oh my god, that was so stressful. Yes! It's been so long. Fuck. Ah! Ah, man. Ah, we did it, guys. Ah, we did it. Holy crap, how did the tiles hold on? Yes! Ah! 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 Oh my god, guys, you have no idea how much that means to me. Oh my god! Ah! Ah! Holy moly! I am so done. I am so done. I am so done. I'm so sorry if I hurt your ears, guys. How the hell did that work? How did we hold on?
So there we have it, guys. We actually managed to win the race. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video. Thank you so much for the support as well. If you tuned into the live stream, I'm going to leave you now with the post-race interviews. Love you all, guys. Thank you so much and have a great day.
The next F1 Esports Invitational, and I'm delighted to announce we've got Lucas Blakeley. The winner has come to join us here in the live chat. Lucas, you must be absolutely thrilled, my man. What a start here in PSGL.
I don't know what to say, man. If you could see my stream right now, I am literally dripping in sweat. I don't know if I've had to try harder in any race I've done for a long time. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't ask for a better start. I've lost my voice a little bit. I was celebrating quite a bit because it meant, I know it's only a social race, but it meant a lot. I mean, it's not been an easy 9 months period. Personally, so yeah, I'm just so happy for now.
I mean, me and you. I mean, we spoke briefly. I think when I sort of entered your stream earlier on, and I sort of had a quiet word. I think I might do that more often if it gives you a little bit of luck. But no, absolutely tremendous. But you were stating prior to the race that you were a little bit nervous. There's a little bit of tetchy feeling going into it. You weren't sure whether you were ready to sort of land it here in league racing. Certainly here at PSGL, obviously the grid very much like F1 Esports as well. So you know all about the quality, certainly that's on the table. But what a way to do it, though. You pretty much, it was your race after your first stop. You had it all in your hands. You came out pretty much into clean air as well after you made that one solitary overtake. Just talk us through the race. Were you comfortable right through? Did you have the plan set in your brain straight from the get-go?
I absolutely did not have a plan. I was just trying to take it lap for lap and keep myself composed. I mean, yeah, I mean, as I said to you, I mean, I haven't done a league race in over 2 years on F1 except outside esports, like a proper thing like this. So I was a little bit like excited, nervous. I'm not gonna lie, and I wasn't really sure how I'd handle, being in this sort of environment again. But once I sort of was thrown back into it, I just tried to focus as much as I could, keep composed. But yeah, to talk through the race, I didn't. I mean, my chat will say like literally, I didn't want to qualify on the softs, but I quite quickly realised that it's going to be so difficult to get the outcome that I wanted. So I just committed quite early in the session just to full softs and managed to put in 2 really good laps. I was amazed I managed to put it on pole. And yeah, from that point on, it was literally stage by stage. I could never look further than the next few laps. Like it was, focus on every lap in qualifying, then focus on the start because the start was really tricky. I was struggling really hard to get a consistency in the start, so I just tried my best there, managed to keep it clean, and then, yeah, I mean, I was managing to keep a good pace in the first stint, managed the tyres as well as I could, pitted, I think it was lap 8, because you have to go a little bit longer on the softs, because the hards, I believe, get quite close at the end to explosions, so, yeah, after the stop, I could not believe the gap I had. It felt like too good to be true. And then I seen the classic Jarno up mere mediums in the pit lane, and I was like, no, not again. He's going to do it to me, isn't he? And I was like, it was going to come down to how quickly he could get through the traffic, and I was just trying my best, bit by bit, lap by lap, just... And then sort of towards the end, I started to sort of believe more and more I could do it. I could see the gap getting, the amount Jarno was gaining was getting smaller and smaller, so I was... thinking, okay, it's more on and it's on. I tried to manage my tyres and just keep myself composed because it was quite high pressure, but I just feel like I enjoyed it. It's so weird to say, but I just enjoyed that entire race from the first lap of qualifying all the way to the end. So, man, it means a lot. I know it's only a social race, but it means so much after the last period of time. It's not been easy. I mean, last year's esports wasn't great, and I mean, people don't always see everything how they are, and how tricky things have been at times. So to do this, it just makes my day. I mean, I don't know what to say, man. I'm just so grateful. GG to Jarno and all the guys in the race as well. Like I can't stress how unbelievable the level is in F1 esports you need to be at your A game just to get a single chance. It's not guaranteed. Nothing's forgiven. Nothing's guaranteed. So yeah, fully congrats to those guys. Jarno came from 15th to 2nd. So absolute full credit. I think Tomic got P3. So GG to him. I'm starting to go all over the place now, but yeah.
I can really hear your jubilation in your voice, and that is so heartwarming to hear. I mean, I have to say, you couldn't do it at a better time. We broke a viewers record tonight on the commentary broadcast. For the first time, we actually hit 1.6k,
wow.
Very nearly actually 2,000. So you did it in front of a record-breaking PSGL audience, which is absolutely phenomenal. What a way to start, by the way. Obviously, looking ahead now, that is the maximum confidence booster. I don't know you related back to last season in esports, how things didn't quite go to plan. It just goes to show, though, would you believe that having positive results in league racing can sort of contribute towards a better performance in F1 esports?
I believe I wanted to do something a little bit different this year. I mean, last year and the year before, I just thought, I'll just focus fully on esports and not do any league races. But and I believe you can do it either way in some ways. But I wanted, just to get back into league racing as a whole, because you know, it's fun even just to watch. I mean, you can see, you know, how much hype there was in PSGL even last season. I mean, I was so gripped by the championship finale. I think it was at the end at Brazil or something. It was so awesome to watch, and you know that you do miss it a bit. I mean, as I've said, I feel like I've said it too many times. I don't want to be annoying, but but I haven't done a league race in over 2 years, like a proper something like this. So I wanted
What a
just to
way to
sort of
return.
yeah. I honestly, you cannot. I absolutely cannot foresee these sort of things or wish for anything like this. You just need to sort of manifest what you can, and yeah, just do it. Believe in yourself. I mean, even through stages last year, I mean, I've tried never to lose self belief within my ability, and you know, last year was tough for so many reasons. You know, not a single person out there has even a remote idea of how tough things were last year. So to, you know, come back in a fresh slate, and do something like this, even though if it's just one race. I mean, as you were saying with the, you know, doing league racing as a confidence boost, it definitely is that, because I think it helps shake down, you know, I don't want to say rustiness because I have done other racing on different platforms, but it definitely helped break that sort of cobwebs of F1 in the sense of league racing. I haven't, you know, I've not done it in a while, so it's just to get back in and, you know, getting about it. You know, I mean, we're so lucky to have so many talented people in the grid. So, you know, it's just I mean, to even be in this sort of field, it is literally a privilege. You can't take it for granted. You need to be grateful. And yeah, I look forward to hopefully having many more races in PSGL, and also congratulations to you guys for. I mean, you were talking about the viewership record. You guys absolutely deserve it because you have gone strength to strength. So, massive GG to all you guys, because you clearly work hard and it's all paying off. So yeah, GG.
Hey, well, it's all a team effort, Lucas, and I have to say, what a great show of humility as well. You're such an amazing human being, and I'm sure Aston Martin will be delighted to see what they saw, certainly if they have been watching tonight. So very, very big congratulations. I really hope we will see you competing with the best in the league season as well, that commences very, very soon. So thank you ever so much yet again for joining us for a wonderful interview, and I hope we're gonna see some more.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. Take care, guys. Have a great Have a great evening.
Thank
I'm
you.
losing my voice. It's gone.
Have a cup of tea, mate. Have a cup of tea. Enjoy yourself. No, honestly, tremendous. Thank you, Lucas.